Good morning, students. Welcome back to online course on programming for problem solving. The last class we have completed the operators concept. All the different operators in C language. We have discussed three different categories and eight different types of operators in C language. So in any programming language, the role of operators is crucial. I mean, we definitely need to have an idea of what is an operand, what is an operator, what is an expression, simple and complex, and how these operators are evaluate their values so that we can become masters in implementing the logic of the given problem. So definitely we have discussed all such types in C language. We had the discussion on these types of operators, and we said all these types, they have been broadly categorized into three categories. They are unary operators, binary operators, and ternary operators. Okay. So unary operators, when we are saying it takes only one operand. Operand is something on which the operation is performed. Okay. So unary operators, they take only one operand to perform their operations. And we have only we have many unary operators in our operator categories or in our operator types. So they takes only one operand. Binary operators, they take two operands to perform their operation. Okay, then finally the ternary operators, they take only three operands to perform their operation, and we have only one such operator type, that is the conditional operator. Okay. So all these types we discussed. Okay, the arithmetic operator category, the relational, logical, bitwise, assignment, increment and decrement, and other operators. We left with only this conditional operator. I think I have not explained about this conditional operator, how it will operate or how it will work. So this thing, because it is the functionality of this conditional operator is similar to the functionality of one of our control structure, that is if else. Okay, so we need to wait for the discussion of control structures like your if else. Okay, once you know how this if else statement or if else control structure will work in your C language, so your conditional operator, the token for conditional operator is question mark followed by colon. So this particular thing. So the first operator we have to put before this question mark. Okay, operand 1 or the condition, we can say operand 1 or the condition, then question mark, then operand 2, because it takes three operands, right? Operand 2, then colon, operand 3, operand 3. So like this, in this way, as it is taking 1, 2 and 3, three operands to perform its functionality, we are calling this operator as conditional or ternary operator. Okay, ternary, because it is taking three operands to perform its operation. Okay, that's the reason why we are calling this operator as a ternary operator. And the syntactical token or the symbol for this ternary operator is question mark followed by colon. So how to use this conditional operator in our programming logic, in the sense, in our program, in the sense, first you put operand 1, then put the question mark, then operand 2, then colon, then finally the operand 3. So in this way we have to use the conditional operator. How it will processed by the compiler, how it will be processed, that when we discuss these control structures over there, we have the clarity on how this conditional operator will be processed. So all these operator types we discussed, bitwise we discussed, then assignment operators, increment and decrement operators, conditional operators, and other operator category also be discussed. Then we have an important concept precedence and associativity of the operators. So when you are evaluating the operators in your expression, okay, generally whenever you have an expression in your mathematics or in your programming, so to know the value of that expression, what we will do, we will evaluate that expression. Evaluating is nothing but performing the operations of all the operators to get a final value, isn't it? To get a final value. So when you evaluate an expression, you will get a single value. You will get a single value. So when you are evaluating the expression, if it is simple expression, so what is the definition? What I have given, what I told you, what is simple expression? If it is having only one operator in it, we call such an expression as a simple expression. If you have only one operand, sorry, not operand, operator. If you have only one operator, we call such an expression as a simple expression. Let us say if I am saying 3 plus 2, it is a simple expression because we have only one operator and it is a binary operator, so it is taking two operands. Okay, 3 plus 2. So what is, after evaluating, what value you will get? You will get 5. So this is the final value of the expression. 5 is the final value of the expression. 3 and 2 are operands and plus symbol plus syntactical token is the operator. So if you have only one operator in your expression, we call this expression as a simple expression. The reason, because there is no conflict or there is no confusion in evaluating that operator. As we have one sole operator, you can simply evaluate it to get the final value. So that we have done over here. We got the value 5. Okay, this is in case of simple expression. So if it is simple expression, there is no need of working on precedence and there is no need of working on associativity. These two are different things. Precedence and associativity, these two are different things. We need to discuss this precedence first and then after that we will discuss associativity. Okay, so if your expression is a simple expression, then there is no need of working on the what we call precedence and associativity of the expression. But if it is a complex expression, where comes the need of precedence and associativity? In the sense, if it is a complex expression. So what do you mean by complex expression? If it is having more than one operators into it. If your expression, if it is having more than one operators, then we call such an expression as a complex expression. Okay, so I will give you one simple example of complex expression. So we'll just put two operators to have the clarity on that discussion. So I'm taking one simple expression over here. So let us say I'm writing first 4 multiplied with 3 plus 2. So like this, 4 multiplied with 3 plus 2. So now it is a complex expression. Why it is a complex expression? Because it is having two operators into it. Multiplication sign as well as the plus sign. Two operators it is having. And how many operands it is having? 3 operands it is having. Okay, 3 operands. This multiplication is a binary operator, so it is taking two operands, 4 and 3. This addition symbol, plus symbol, it is also a binary operator, so it is taking two operands, 3 and 2. So now, how to evaluate this particular expression and how to get the value of this expression? Okay, so whether I have to evaluate this asterisk multiplication first or I have to evaluate this plus addition first. Which one I have to evaluate first? So it is a confusion. If you are from mathematics background, if you have done some good mathematics at your elementary level as well as in your intermediate level, then you know that which operator we need to evaluate first. Because according to the BODMAS rule, always we need to evaluate the multiplications first. Multiplications before the addition. So if you apply the BODMAS rule, you will get 4 multiplied with 3, that is 12 plus 2, it is 14. The value of this expression is 14. Okay, So the precedence, when we are saying precedence, it also does the same job in our C language. Because in your mathematics, you have a limited number of operators. Like you have only the all arithmetic operators. But over here, we have lot many operators. Like we have bitwise, logical, conditional, okay, increment, decrement. We have lot many operators. Like parenthesis, we have many different things we have in our consideration whenever we are framing an expression and whenever we are evaluating an expression. So because of that reason, applying the BODMAS is not sufficient in C language. We need to go for a different technique. We need to go for a different concept, that is nothing but the precedence, operator precedence. So this operator precedence will tell us, this operator precedence will give the idea to us what operator we have to evaluate first and what operator we have to evaluate next, likewise. Okay, so simple concept. If the expression is simple, no confusion, simply evaluate it. No need to apply the operator precedence and no need to apply the operator associativity. But if the expression is complex, if it is having more than one operator, okay, if it is having more than one operator, that is nothing but if your expression is a complex expression, then there is a confusion that which operator we need to evaluate first and which operator we need to evaluate next. Exactly at that confusion, the concept of precedence will help you to know to what operator we have to evaluate first and what operator we have to evaluate next. Okay, simply just read out the statements whatever we have over here. Expression evaluation is easy if it is a simple expression to be evaluated. So if your expression that you are considering to evaluate, if it is a simple expression, the evaluation process is very easy. No confusion, no what we call conflict of operator precedence, nothing. No need to apply the precedence, no need to apply the associativity. But problem arises when we have a complex expression to evaluate. Okay. Without the knowledge of precedence, it is difficult to determine the order in which the operators in a complex expression are evaluated. So if you don't know the concept of precedence, you can't evaluate the complex expression in your C language. So definitely there is a need to understand the precedence rules and the associativity rules in order to evaluate the complex expression in your C language. So what exactly this precedence? First we will discuss about the precedence. Precedence is used to determine the order in which different operators in a complex expression are evaluated. So what exactly the precedence? It tells us in what order we have to evaluate all the operators inside your complex expression, or the different operators inside your complex expression. Okay, the concept is very simple. So then yes, we have the associativity. So associativity, it is again very simple thing. So when we go for precedence, we will go in an order. Okay, we have a precedence table. According to that precedence table, the higher the precedence value, the earlier the operator gets evaluated. Okay, if you have the precedence higher precedence value, we simply evaluate that operator first, and if the precedence value is lower for a particular operator, we evaluate that operator last. So the order, how we evaluate all the operators in our, or the different operators in our expression, complex expression in the sense, based on their precedence based on their precedence value inside the precedence table. So this is your precedence table. As you can see over here, we have the precedence table. So the higher the precedence value, so how we because here we are not giving any precedence value, isn't it? So how we tell that a particular operator is having the higher precedence value? In the sense, if it is coming at the top, if it is coming at the top in the precedence table, we call that operator having the highest precedence value. So if you see this, all these brackets, okay, these brackets, they are having the utmost precedence value, and as you go down in this particular table, your precedence value gets lower. Okay, as you go down, your precedence value gets lower. So simply the top operators are having the highest precedence value when compared with the lower ones. Okay, so this is when compared with this second line, the first line operators are having the highest precedence value. So if anything is coming like this, okay, uh, multiplication and plus in a single expression, as you can see over here, uh, these multiplication and this plus, over here also we have plus, but it is a unary plus, unary prefix. Okay, so don't consider this one. Whenever we are talking about plus, we have to go for addition operation, isn't it? In our complex expression, if you are taking the plus operator in a in between two operands, so it will act like a binary plus. Okay, binary plus, that is nothing but additive. So we have to consider this. So as you can see, the multiplication is coming before the plus sign. The multiplication is coming before the plus sign. So we need to evaluate multiplication first and then the addition likewise. Okay, so this is the concept of precedence. So associativity means if more than one operator, if more than one operator under a single line, under a single precedence rule comes in your expression, okay, like this. So we have 3 multiply 4 divide 2. Okay, 3 multiply 4 divide 2. If you have like this, so now this multiplication and this division both are standing, as you can see over here, both are standing at the same level in the operator precedence table. Both are standing at the same level. So as you can see here, the multiplication and division, this is your multiplication sign and this is your division sign, both are at the same level inside your precedence table. So now again the confusion, which we have to evaluate first, whether we have to evaluate this multiplication first or the division first. So over there we have to check the associativity rule as it is given, okay, in the right side of your precedence table. The last column of your precedence table is nothing but the associativity. So this associativity tells how you have to move within that row. Okay, within that row, I mean within that precedence level, whatever operator category, whatever operators you have, how you have to move. So if you are getting multiplication and division from the same precedence value, then check for the associativity. We have to move left to right. How we have to move? We have to move left side to right side. So which is left and which is right to this particular expression? This is your left and this is your right, and move in this direction, left to right. So now if when you are moving left to right, which operator is coming first? The multiplication operator is coming first. So evaluate this. 4 3s 12 divided by 2. So as you move further, you got the division. So evaluate division also. So 12, when you are dividing with 2, you will get 6. So the final value of this expression is 6. So likewise, not only the left to right associativity, we also have right to left associativity. As you can see, in some cases we also have right to left associativity. So if you got right to left associativity, then what you have to do, simply put left and right to your expression, then move towards left. From right, move towards left, and whatever operators you will get in that moving process, simply evaluate them. Hopefully you understood. So first, whenever you have a complex expression, try to apply the precedence rule. So applying associativity is not always required. So when we have to apply the associativity, when more than one operator is having the same precedence value, same precedence level. Okay, when more than one operator is having the same precedence level, then only go for the associativity rule. If all your operators in the complex expression, if they are having the different different precedence values, then no need to go for associativity. Associativity, when we have to apply associativity, we have to apply only after the application of precedence rule. First apply the precedence rule, and if there is also conflict, if inside the precedence rule also we have the conflicts, then go for the associativity rule. Concept is very simple. We will what we call solve few of the expression so that you will get the clarity on this operator precedence and operator associativity. So associativity is used to determine the order in which the operators with the same precedence are evaluated in complex expression. So first we have the multiple operators in a complex expression, more than one operator in a complex expression, and we don't have any idea how to evaluate that one. So to get that idea, we are applying the precedence rule, because the precedence rule will tell which operator needs to be evaluated first and which operator needs to be evaluated next. So you applied the precedence rule, and as you have seen, you might have seen inside the precedence table at a single level we are having more than one operator, isn't it? If after applying the precedence rule also, if more than one operator is having the same precedence value, again there is a confusion which operator we need to evaluate and which first. Okay, so to avoid that one, to get the clarity on that confusion, we are going for associativity rule. This associativity will tell whether to move from left to right or to move from right to left, so that we can evaluate the operators in your complex expression. Okay, so always the precedence is applied. So just read this second statement in your slide. The second statement, always the precedence is applied before the associativity. Okay, first what we have to apply the precedence and then only go for associativity, knowing that there are more operators with same precedence level. If you have more than one operator with same precedence level, the associativity is applied. If you don't satisfy this condition, if there are no more operators with same precedence level, then don't go for the associativity. If all operators are having the different precedence levels, then don't go for associativity. Simply evaluate them according to their precedence levels. Hopefully you understood. If there are, this statement also important statement. If there are no operators with same precedence, no need to apply the associativity. If there are no operators with same precedence, then no need to apply the associativity. Every operator in C is having a precedence. Okay, it is not like we left with few operators without any precedence. All the operators inside your C language, they have some precedence level inside your precedence table. The higher the precedence, the earlier the operator gets evaluated. Already I told you this statement. The higher the precedence level or the higher the precedence value, the earlier the operator gets evaluated. Okay, hopefully you understood. So a simple statement they have given over here: 2 plus 3 multiplied with 4. Okay, 2 plus 3 multiplied with 4. So what is the value of this statement? So according to the precedence table, just check what is the precedence level of plus, binary plus, and again you check the precedence level of binary multiplication. So if you check the precedence table, we came to know that always the multiplication, binary multiplication, needs to be evaluated before the binary addition. So we evaluate 3 multiplied with 4, that is 12. You will get the result like 12. 3 multiplied 4, when you do, you will get this value as 12. So 2 plus 12 you will get. So this is now a simple expression. So evaluate this plus and you will get the final value. 2 plus 12, you will get 14. 14 is the final value. Okay. In precedence table, operator asterisk, that is nothing but multiplication, is having higher precedence than the operator plus. Okay. Operator plus. So hence the star, that is nothing but asterisk, that is nothing but multiplication, will be evaluated first and then the addition. Okay, so the value is 14. Okay, see the following precedence table. So this table we have given all the precedence, all the operator precedence values. So the higher, that is nothing but if those operators are coming at a higher level inside your precedence table, think in such a way that they will be evaluated first. Okay, as you go down, the precedence value, the precedence level will also be decrease. Okay, if you have same precedence, go for associativity. Associativity, it can be left to right or it can be right to left. So now here we are discussing the associativity. The first statement you read: The associativity, it can be right to left or left to right. Okay, the associativity, it can be right to left or left to right. Right to left, left to right associativity evaluates the expression by starting on the left side and moving towards right side. So how, I mean, what exactly does this left to right associativity means? So if you have the same precedence operators in an expression, then if the associativity is left to right, we have to move from left side to towards right side, and whatever operator comes first, when you are moving in that way, whatever operator comes first in that direction, simply evaluate that one. Okay, so likewise, then right to left associativity, yes, we have to move from right side towards left side, and whatever operators you get first in that moving process, simply evaluate that first. Okay. Yes, the last important point here, already we discussed this one, so but once again I'm highlighting over here. Remember, associativity is used only when there are operators with same precedence level. So if you don't have any operators with same precedence level, don't apply the associativity. So if you have operators with same precedence level, more than one operator with same precedence level, then only you apply the associativity. Okay. So yeah, associativity is applied when we have more than one operator of same precedence level in an expression. Okay. So in a complex expression, if you have more than one operator with same precedence level, then only go for associativity. This particular statement is important and you have to remember. More than one operator with same precedence level, then go for associativity. If you don't have any such condition, if you don't have any such restriction, if you don't have any such confusion inside your complex expression, just ignore the associativity. No need to apply the associativity to all the complex expressions. Okay, so here we will solve this. So as you can see, the first statement, 3 multiplied with 4, 8 divided with 4. 3 multiplied with 8 divided with 4. So how many operators? 2 operators. So it is a complex expression. This is and this is complex expression. So what we need to do, first try to apply the precedence. Apply the precedence. So here multiplication and division both are at same precedence level. Okay, multiplication and division both are at same precedence level. So now what we have to do, just apply the associativity. So this is my left and this is my right. So what associativity for this multiplication and division? We have to move. So here you can see the multiplication and division and modulo division, these 3 operators standing at same precedence level, having the associativity right, left to right. So we have to move left to right. So in which direction? From here to here, like this we have to move. As you are moving in this direction, the multiplication operator comes first. So evaluate that multiplication first. So what will be the value? 3 multiplied with 8, that is 24, divided with 4. So the value will be 6. Okay, the final result of this expression will be 6. Take the next one, 2 plus 3 modulo division, 2 multiplied with 4. Okay, 2 plus 3 modulo division, 2 multiplied with 4. How many operators? 3 operators. Operator plus, operator modulo division, operator multiplication. So in this 3, yeah, we have modulo division and multiplication at one precedence level and plus at another precedence level, as you can see. Here modulo division and multiplication at one precedence level. Okay, and plus at second precedence level. So which one among these, which one are having the highest precedence? So these 2 are having the highest precedence. So we need to evaluate them first. Okay, multiplication and modulo division are having the highest precedence. So we need to evaluate them first and then the addition. So when you are evaluating these 2, you got confusion that whether we have to go for modulo division first or multiplication first. So what because these two are having the same precedence, so we have to go for associativity, and that associativity is right to left. Already we know it, right to left. All multiplication, division, modulo division, the associativity is right to left associativity. Okay, so apply the right to left associativity. So 2 plus 3 modulo division. So first we need to evaluate this modulo division. The modulo division is using two operands, that is 3 and 2. So when you apply modulo division between 3 and 2, you will get the remainder as 1, isn't it? You will get the remainder 1. How come? 3 you put and divide with 2. 2 once 2, the remainder is 1. So modulo division always takes the remainder. So the remainder will be 1. So how the expression will change? 2 plus 1 modulo division, sorry, not modulo division, multiplication 4. So next which operator? Now we have only 2. Okay, multiplication and addition. So multiplication is having the highest precedence level, so we need to evaluate that first. So 2 plus 1 multiplied with 4, that is 4 only. So we have only one operator now. It is a simple expression. So the value is 6. So the value is 6. One last example we will do, that is 3 multiplied with 8 divide with 4 modulo divide with 4 multiplied with 5. So here how many operators? 1, 2, 3, 4 operators. All are of same precedence level. Okay, multiplication, division, modulo division, multiplication, all are of at same precedence level. So simply move towards left to right, because we have to go for associativity. All are having the same precedence level, so we have to go for associativity, and that associativity is left to right. We have to move. So first we need to evaluate this multiplication. Evaluate it. So 3 multiplied with 4, 3 multiplied with 8, that is 24. Divide with 4, modulo divide with 4, and multiply with 5. Again move left to right. Okay, again move left to right. We have division first, so evaluate division. So 24 divided with 4, that is you will get 6 modulo division 4 multiplied with 5. Again two operators. Move left to right. Okay, move left to right. You have this operator. Okay, modulo division operator. So 6 modulo division 4, what is the value? 6 we are dividing with 4. 4 ones 4, the remainder is 2. So you will get 2 here. Then 2 multiplied with 5. Okay, only one operator, simple expression. So evaluate it. 2 multiplied with 5, you will get the final value like 10. So in this way, whenever you are evaluating an expression, if it is simple, no confusion. If it is complex, you need to take the help of precedence and associativity. First you need to apply the precedence, then you have to go for associativity if required. Okay, so after applying the precedence, if all operators inside your complex expression, if they are having the different levels of precedence, no need to go for associativity. If some of your operators are having the same level of precedence, then go for associativity to know how to evaluate the operators of same precedence level. So this associativity, either it can be left to right or right to left. If the associativity is left to right, simply in your expression move from left to right, left towards right, and whatever operator you are encountering first, simply evaluate that one. So, and if the associativity is right to left, simply move from right towards left, and whatever operator you are encountering first in that movement, simply evaluate that. So this is about operator precedence and operator associativity. So the next concept, the very important concept, is the conditional branching or the decision making. So from here on, this conditional branching and the looping, these two are the part of your control structures. Okay, control structures. So far, whatever concepts we discussed, or whatever programming logics we discussed, whatever algorithms we have seen, all they are executing the statements in a sequential process. There is no skipping of the statements. There is no repetition of any particular statement. They are simply executing all the statements in a sequential process, one after the other. First, they are starting at the beginning, and they are considering all the statements inside your program only once, and they are executing that statements only once. But in your logic implementation process, when you are developing the solution for a particular problem, when you are implementing the logic for a particular problem, if you feel that there is a need to skip few of the statements if certain conditions are matching, if certain rules are matching, if you feel that there is a need to skip few of the conditions or few of the statements, then we have to go for conditional branching. And in that same way, if you feel that you need to execute some set of statements or a particular statement more than once, because in general it will get executed only once, and you feel that you need to execute it more than once, okay, like 10 times, 20 times you want to execute a particular statement, so then we we have to use the concept of iterations, or we also call them as loops. So loop is nothing but what it will do, it will simply execute the given statement more than once up to some specified number of times. Don't think that it will simply execute that statement for infinite number of times. It will execute up to some specified number of times. We only going to tell to the compiler that these many times I need the execution of this particular statement. So what it will do, it will simply consider that statement for more than once execution up to the specified number of times execution. Hopefully you understood. So this decision making, it is nothing but taking a different path by skipping one portion and considering another portion. What we are doing, we are suppose if you are let us assume if you are going to your home, we have uh, different paths, okay, we have different possible ways or different possible paths to reach your home. So what you will do, based on your mood or based on your what we call the requirement, you will select any possible path from those paths, those many number of paths, those many number of ways. So I will give you one simple example. So you are at college, okay, you are at college and you want to go home, okay, you are at college and you want to go home. So your house somewhere here, okay, you have your house. So yes, from your college to some point you have only one way, let us assume. From your college to some point in between you have only one single possible, one single path, one single way, okay. But from that point towards your house you have like four ways, okay. This is one way to reach, this is another way to reach, and this is another way. So likewise you have four different paths to reach your home, okay. So this is one possible, and this is another possible, this is another possible, and this is the last possible path to reach your home from this point. So from here to here, what you will do, you don't have any other way because you have only one way, so you need to come through this way only. So you will come from here to here by using this way only, and you reach this point. So you reach this point. So now when you are at this point, yeah, you have to make the decision, okay, you have to make the decision among these paths, which path you want to select. Let us will name these paths. So I will call this path as A path, this is B, this is C, this is D. A, B, C, D. Four different paths you have, A, B, C, D. So among these paths you need to select one possible path, because it is not possible to move in these four paths at a time and reach home, isn't it? You have to select any one possible path. So let us assume on A, on A path, on A way, you have your friend's house as well, okay, you have your friend's house as well. So today you thought of meeting your friend as well, okay, today you thought of meeting your friend as well. So when you are coming after leaving the college, when you are reaching this point, what you will do, you will select path A. Why you are selecting path A? Because you thought of meeting your friend, because that is the condition which is matching at this point. You thought of meeting your friend, so you are going on path A. And by going on path A, what you are doing, you are skipping path B, path C, path D. You're not selecting these things, you're simply skipping. Remember this one, this understanding this analysis is very, very important. Of course, it is very easy, but the same thing will do in our programming. Whenever we are selecting one possible path among different paths, what we are doing, when you are selecting one path, you are skipping other paths, you are skipping other ways. Okay, so over here, as your condition, as your requirement is, you want to visit your friend, you want to meet your friend today. So after reaching this point, what you are doing, you are selecting path A, because your requirement is you want to meet your friend. So in that way, so let us say on path B you have some general store, or you have some bookstore. Okay, on path B you have one bookstore, and today you want to, I mean some other day, okay, some other day you want to purchase some textbook. Okay, you want to purchase some textbook. Then what you will do, you definitely you move in this B direction, isn't it? Definitely you move in this B path and you purchase your book and you go to your home. So what is making you to select path B? Because you want to purchase the textbook. That is the condition. As you want to purchase the textbook, you are moving in B direction, B path direction, and you are purchasing the textbook and you are going home. You are reaching home. So when you are selecting B path, what you are doing? You are skipping path A, you are skipping path B, and you are skipping path C also. So let us assume on path C you have some fruit market and you want to buy some fruits. So definitely you will select path C. On D you have vegetable market, and if you want to buy vegetables, you have to move on path D. So likewise, depending, I mean whenever you are reaching this point, based on your requirement, you are selecting any of the possible path and you are skipping the other paths. If you want to meet the friend, you are going on path A and you are skipping B, C, D. If you want to buy the vegetables, you are going on path D and you are skipping A, B, C. Likewise. So this particular point, what we do over here means we put a control structure, a conditional branching statement, a decision making statement. So why we are calling this as a decision making means only after reaching that point you are making the decision, isn't it? Over here at this point you are selecting A path because your decision is to meet your friend. At this point you are selecting path B because you want to purchase a textbook. On this point you are making a decision to select path D because you want to buy some vegetables. Likewise, hopefully you understood this concept, why conditional branching is important and why decision making is important in our day-to-day life, as well as in programming also. Whenever you have such a thing to do in your programming, there also, based on the decision or based on the condition what we supplied over there, if the condition is matching, if the condition is satisfying, we will select one possible path, and if the condition is not satisfying, we are selecting some different path. Okay, so likewise, we do conditional branching in our programming. So decision is nothing but selecting the right choice between multiple alternatives. Here we have multiple alternatives and we are selecting the right choice based on our condition. Okay, based on our condition. In computers, always the decision will be made based on conditions. So that conditions are nothing but our requirement, what exactly we want to do. Based on that requirement only the condition will be framed, and if the condition is satisfied, we select one path, and if the condition is not satisfied, we'll select some other path. For a condition, there are two possibilities. Okay, either it can be true or it can be false. Either it can be true or it can be false. So only two possible paths for a condition. Okay, so conditional branching, when we are doing, we can do in both ways, two-way selection and multi-way selection. What is two-way selection? What is multi-way selection? That we will see. Yes, it's almost like 45 minutes. So the further discussion about this conditional branching we will do in our next class. And I think we discussed only the operator precedence and associativity in today's class. And this concept, operator precedence and operator associativity, it is an important concept. Okay, I have given the full notes in my theory notes. So simply follow that one, and it is an long answer question, LAQ, operator precedence and operator associativity. Sometimes they are keeping this question under a bit of your LAQ, long answer question. Okay. So further we'll discuss in our next class. In tomorrow's class, hopefully we will complete this conditional branching, and in one more class we need to discuss the concept of arrays. So with that, if we complete conditional branching and arrays, we are we completed all the portion for your first mid exams. Up to arrays only I'm going to put inside your first mid exam. Okay, after arrays we are going to have functions and other concepts. They will come in your third unit, and third unit, fourth unit, fifth unit for your second internals, second mid exams. I'm not considering those concepts for your first mid exams. Okay, so thank you very much, students.